Dear Shifu and dear participants, before I introduce my case presentation, I'd like to say a few words of myself briefly. I'm Eszter Nagy and I work as an assistant lecturer at the University of Dentistry in Szeged, and I also work as a private dentist in half-time. Image medicine helped me and changed my life in 2016 when I had tenosynovitis in both of my hands and I couldn't work for more than 6 months. My hands were swollen and I was depressed, and this time I met Adrienne Bogardi, who changed my mental and physical health, and she's helping me ever since then. For her suggestion, I started to do ZYQ the same summer, and for some unknown reason, I felt the urge to go to Kundawell and learn image medicine from Master Sumington. After learning there for 1 month, winter of 2016 and 17 January, I came home and I found a new way to help my patients, my friends and strangers on my way. My case presentation is about Lilla, who is a former professional boxer, 27-year-old girl, but now she quit boxing for years. I met this extraordinary girl many years before Kundawell happened to me on physiotherapy. I recognize that she's a fighter, no one can stop her. She's always joyful, cheerful, laughing, and tries to help everyone she meets. But after Kundawell, we met again, and I saw the change in her mood and in her life. She became my massage therapist, a really good one, and I became her image therapist, and this whole situation ended up in true friendship. She changed her ball dancer career to boxing, and less than in 1 year, she became a national Hungarian champion of her boxing weight. Her funny mood was still there when we met, but hidden somewhere deep inside. Her Western medicine case history is quite long, and it started in 2016. She had severe low back pain, and she couldn't compete without painkillers. She had non-steroid drugs during her boxing matches, and no one could find the real reason for this. She was diagnosed with lactose and gluten intolerance, of course, some kind of inflammation. They diagnosed reflux disease and allergic rhinitis as well. Her complaints were stabbing pain around the heart area and in the stomach. She had chronic diarrhea by then, and snuffles and reflux, of course. They give all types of medication to all of her symptoms, but they didn't really seem to help. Her Helicobacter pylori, which is an important bacteria in this reflux disease, was negative, though her immunoglobulin E and lymphocyte level was high, so they diagnosed a small intestine inflammation this time. Her lower abdominal pain was constant, and she couldn't be helped by the medications. So in 2017, they diagnosed celiac disease according to the biopsies and other blood tests they did. However, she had gluten-free diet. Her lower abdominal pain in between meals and during meals was the same, and she lost her appetite completely. In 2018, her symptoms were the same, and the doctors couldn't really help her. She had pain around the lower abdominal area and around the navel constantly, with severe diarrhea. The doctors tried to manage a colonoscopy, which was not complete, but according to its result, they said that it's an inflammation, so colitis ulcerosa. They found some polypoid tissues as well. By the end of the year, her attacks of diarrhea were so severe that this watery-like stool occurred like 6 or 7 times a day, and no food stayed inside her. The new diagnosis was large intestine inflammation. She quit boxing, and the main problem that her trainer was not supportive at all, and she couldn't really understand why she quit boxing. However, with this pain, it's impossible to stay there and to be punched by other boxers. Around this time, we started the image medicine treatment. The image medicine diagnosis was like the pulse diagnosis. When I touched the liver area, it was hot. I felt tingling pain during the heart examination. The hand diagnosis was severe coldness everywhere. I felt a freezing cold from the liver, the spleen area, the stomach, and the heart area as well. I felt the pain and the blocks in her limbs and her core. On our very first occasion, despite her changing mood, she couldn't lay still for a moment. Anyway, she's a girl who cannot sit still for a moment. I tapped her whole body. I woke her whole system up and cleaned it. I tapped the liver. I cleaned it with Hoa mantra, and I used bigger, smaller, and beyond as well. I also treated the heart the same way, and I tried to activate the 4 points around the navel, and by the end of this long activation, her sharp stabbing pain almost relieved completely. She felt pain around the meridians and the abdominal area during the treatment. I told her that I feel that her liver is not in the best condition, and I suggested her to consume liver meridian tea. Parallel to this, her internal specialist suspected some kind of hepatitis due to her elevated liver enzymes, so she asked the test for this. It was at the end of November. The second occasion was again in the end of this year, and the whole treatment was a bit different for her because she slept the whole treatment over. She had strange dreams, and she felt some kind of pain, but she said she only woke up from free falling at the end of the treatment. She felt relaxed and slow for a few more days, and she couldn't really understand this. When she was awake, we discussed certain topics I felt as a problem in her life, and she was really keen on to discuss these things. And even after the occasions, she informed me that she could find a solution for her old problems, to find a new point of view in her life, and she was really happy to solve these things. We had a few more treatments, like 2 or 3 before Christmas, and her appetite changed immediately. She felt better, and diarrhea became controllable. All the treatments were almost the same. I tried to remove the cold from her body, and this cold slowly melted away. So she could quit the rice and toast diet, and on Christmas Eve she sent me a picture of stuffed cabbage and the 3-meal course that she had. At the end of December, she got the result that she has no hepatitis from the blood test. In 2019, we had further discussions on boxing because I felt that she has no motivation at all. She feels anger, disappointment, and sadness towards her trainer. I was treating her organs every time, depending on the actual feeling I had. Once I tried the method we learned on the masterclass in Budapest, only treating the shoe points along the spine area. The treatments were always different. She was crying, either sleeping, or we were chatting during the whole treatment. Her personality has changed a lot. She became more girly and patient and joyful again. Her diarrhea vanished slowly, and she could build back more and more food into her daily diet. 2 occasions were a bit funny because after one treatment she went home and started to eat chili alone. She hates spicy food, and her family was completely shocked and standing around, what is she doing? And they were worrying a lot. But for the second time they said, okay, we saw this before and she will be fine. So we had treatments when she felt she needs something to help her inner tension, and the diarrhea was slightly back. And at the end of May, the new blood test showed that her liver enzyme level is completely normal, and they couldn't find any bacteria or viruses in her stool sample. July was the turning point of our treatment because during the Chu mantra, when I tried to collect her liver energy, she sat up on the bed and she said to stop the whole treatment. She was super excited, and she wanted to start boxing again, being a certified box trainer to teach kids and to do her own massage salon. And I was really happy because I felt these things in her months ago, and now when she realized it, I let her to stop the whole treatment and they went out to have a nice dinner instead. The next day she went down and she was boxing on her own, and she sent me a video of it. The same week she called her trainer, she's been putting off for a while, and she discussed things with her. And I made a promise that I will show you the first stew in her last 5 years she could eat. And she now blames image medicine because yesterday she, maybe first time in her life, dressed up as a woman with proper dresses and hairdo for a wedding ceremony. And now she's a bit more girly. But I'd like to thank you for my teachers and for this opportunity. And she is really grateful also because she sees the difference in her life. And I think we are on a good path for her.